All right, free radicals, welcome back. I'm Dave, and I'm the Radical Independent, coming to you from my studio here where there's music stuff. A couple people want to know. I have another channel, full disclosure. It's called The Real Music Observer. I typically don't like to, I don't know, what's the word? I don't want to cross the streams. If you're into older music or new music that sounds like older music, classic rock, melodic rock, check it out. All right. I got a lot of subscribers over there. Not so much over here. I want to go and talk about Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard hit 4% in the Pennsylvania primary. People are texting me, messaging me, saying, Dave, look what's going on here. Are you back on the Tulsi Express? Like, Tulsi dropped out, but here's a takeaway. All right, here's a really good a few takeaways, because you know me, I'm gonna blab. Number one, none of the above is really important right now for many people, because they look at all these candidates and they go, I don't like any of them. And Tulsi Gabbard, her name, you know, it's appealing. Her campaign prior to her assimilation was fantastic, up until that moment on the Jimmy Dore show where she sounded a bit like a politician. All right. I know what she stands for. I know, just like she said, she thinks Joe Biden has a good heart. She did say that. Just again, this is a balanced video. All right. I went on my tirades. I was upset. There were a lot of people who supported Tulsi Gabbard who were upset. I've come down from my peak temperature. I'm down now. I mean, I'm taking my temperature constantly because of COVID, but actually I'm not. But the point is, I'm not as fired up or angry as I was. People, you know, they react to things, and I'm not apologizing for my reactions. I think they were warranted under the circumstances. Hey, you're the best candidate I've ever seen. Hey, what just happened here? It's like somebody pulled the rug out from underneath me. But let's get back to the topic at hand. So Tulsi Gabbard hits 4% in Pennsylvania. So again, it means none of the above is a really good thing right now. So, you know, you could do a couple of things. You could say, Tulsi, run as an independent, run as a Green. Now, time is up. You can't just jump into the Green Party primary. Jesse Ventura found that out. Howie Hawkins has got it in the bag. I hate to be, you know, the bearer of bad news for people who do not like Howie Hawkins, but Howie Hawkins has got this. Joe Jorgensen is the nominee over in the Libertarian Party. Joe, J-O, is a woman, and she would be our first female president, right? If she got the nomination and she won. I mean, if she won the presidency, she's already got the nomination. What this means to me, people, is there are a significant amount of people out there who want none of the above, which means anybody who tells you, oh, Green Party can't win, Libertarian Party can't win, it's stupid. It's not stupid. There is hope, but we have to make the damn hope, all right? If we don't make the damn hope, there is no hope. And the video I did about Biden, a lot of people are misconstruing that. My friend Charles has been sending me tweets. Charles, if you watch this video, let me explain it again, all right, quickly. And then I'll go back to the Tulsi commentary here. What I was saying is that Tulsi Gabbard looked at the political landscape. She signed a pledge. And I said this initially. When she dropped out, I became, again, a little cloudy in my thinking. It's cleared up. When you see Donald Trump making a speech these days, there's just a sinking feeling inside of you. Even if you like Trump because of a few things that you think he's doing or did, we found out Tucker Carlson believes he's kind of being controlled by Jared Kushner. Who's been saying that? Bueller, me. I've been saying it's a no-brainer. And his daughter, okay, yeah, let's shoot those missiles into Syria. Total neoliberal, total. Like, if Jared Kushner ran for president, he would win in the Democratic Party. He's a neoliberal. So The Trump stuff, though, that when he opens his mouth, it's just he can't read a teleprompter. His phrasing, his pacing. We've got a pandemic. We've got riots, and this is the guy who's going to bring comfort. Now, I watched Biden give a speech. Surprisingly, he got through many of the words without stumbling. He read the teleprompter. Yeah, he was doing a little sloshy with some of the words, but not compared to what he had been doing. Maybe they increased his level of Xanax, or they increased some other stimulant to help him, manage his whatever it is that he's managing. I wasn't saying, people, that I think you should go vote for Biden. What I was saying is Tulsi, in her wisdom, looked at the person in a way that none of us are really looking, because we want policy. We want issues. We want change, okay? Tulsi's saying, well, if we've got to deal with the status quo, because that's basically the end of her campaign was like, same thing with Bernie, was like, okay, I've got to just kind of capitulate, kind of fold up shop here and just blend in with the status quo. If you've got to go with the status quo, then you go with the guy who's not, just a loose cannon, who's going to just escalate everything with his rhetoric, and I'm going to send the military out. I'm going to do this, going to do that. We need somebody who can at least talk to people and say, cooler heads need to prevail. I didn't hear any of that from Donald Trump. Biden, I heard more of it, though, I guess, from Biden than I heard from Trump. Maybe I didn't hear it articulated the way a leader should articulate it. I'm not a Barack Obama fan, and I'm not a Bill Clinton fan, but they were pretty good at lowering the tension, lowering the volume. Now, you may say Obama stoked it. Some people think Obama stoked some of this stuff. Remember the Cambridge police, where he said the police acted stupidly because they roughed up one of his buddies, one of his English professor. I forget who the guy was, but I remember Sean Hannity was running it constantly, and that's the kind of stuff I was absorbing because, I don't know, I was watching a lot of different media back then. But I remember it was all about why Obama would insult the police and so forth. That doesn't seem so crazy to say that the police acted stupidly in a situation targeting an African American. All right. I look, here's my position. All right. Violence isn't a cool thing. I know people are now starting to come out openly and saying violence. No, listen, we need peace at home and abroad. Okay. Green Party, if you look at their 4 big tenets there, peaceful. We are a peaceful party. We advocate for nonviolence. Green people are supposed to be like vegetarians. Yeah, see, green, vegetarian. They're supposed to be peace-loving people. All right? Just saying, you don't have to fall under any of those categories in order to necessarily be a green or libertarian. Libertarian is a nonviolence principle in their platform as well. So for the most part, I think we can all agree that violence isn't a good thing, but there are some people now who are stepping forward who are saying that violence is, justified and so forth. I think based on what I heard in speeches, Joe Biden did a better job at dropping the level of violence, or at least trying to, or speaking to it. You can cite a bunch of things, and people are like, the crime bill. Okay, the crime bill. All right, the crime bill, 1994, the crime bill. That's what, 26 years ago. So maybe we need to, fix the crime bill or erase the crime bill. Biden did a lot of damage. Yes, absolutely, agreed. But I'm talking about just speaking to the issues now. By the way, whether you like it or not, African Americans trust Joe Biden more than they trust anybody else. And there are a number of factors that would support that, or at least are related to why that is. Obviously, Obama's VP, but there's more. Jim Clyburn, when he gave that endorsement, that was like a gold #1 record, okay, to use an analogy from my other channel. It was a #1 hit with a bullet. And I knew at that point that there's no way. Nobody else is going to get near this. So Tulsi Gabbard's political instincts, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about issues. I'm talking about her political instincts to support Biden and to say nice things about him, because I think she believes that she can work with him more than she can work with Trump. And she probably believes that this guy is better for the country than Trump. On the surface, is that true? No, it's not true on the surface. It's true as a perception, okay? I don't think anything is fundamentally going to change if Joe Biden takes over for Donald Trump, other than the fact that a lot of people, a lot of neoliberal and people who like supported George W. Bush, because there's a coalition of neoconservatives who are coming together who want Trump out of there. That should make some of you populist folks a little bit upset. It should also concern you that the war machine will not be turned off, will be ramped up. Activities in places like Venezuela, okay? All of those things where even though Trump can't really speak the English language properly, instinctively Trump isn't super pro-war. Trump wants to try to get along with Russia. Trump does want to draw down troops. Biden, that's not going to happen under Biden. So technically, you might have far worse foreign policy, especially with Joe Biden, although it's all kind of controlled. It's all on kind of autopilot. You need someone to come in there and just scream from the bully pulpit each day and tell the American people how much money we're spending overseas, what we're actually doing overseas. And then good luck. Hopefully you're not going to incur the wrath of the military deep state. Because if you do, you might not be the president anymore. You might be into your next life at that point. Just putting it out there. I mean, this is what the presidency is now. It's tiptoeing around because there are more powerful people within the system that control everything. And I think Tulsi Gabbard realized that when she was running for president, that she couldn't speak truth to power about war and about certain issues that would just set off alarm bells. I mean, if a Green Party or a Libertarian Party candidate ever gets near the votes to win the Electoral College, there's going to be all hell will break loose across all portions. I mean, the conspiracy theories will come out. The Russians, of course, but even more, maybe the Chinese. Pick somebody that we're constantly talking about when it comes to foreign policy. Pick one country that we're all, Iran. Iran was behind it. Iran influenced our elections. Bolivia had some, Venezuela had something to do with it. I'm serious. There's going to be all kinds of crazy conspiracy theories. The American people, if they actually speak with their votes, and the elites, they can't somehow rig it, that means we're going to have to overperform at the ballot box in order to do damage. All right. And that's why I worry about just having any kind of an impact with a third party candidate. But if you don't try, if you don't at least vote on principle and say, you know what, and those people in Pennsylvania, they voted on principle. Good for them. I have no problem. You waited for this primary. You supported her before she dropped out. There were a lot of votes. Bernie got a lot of votes as well. Good for them. Good for them. I mean, the fact that the DNC didn't want a vigorous, robust primary season, I understand you had COVID and you have essentially you have political upheaval all across the country. That's a bit distracting, and I understand why the primaries kind of ramped down. But the 4% to me, that could be 4% for a third party. All right. Don't think that voting for Joe Jorgensen or Howie Hawkins, don't think for a second that that's a bad idea. I'd love for everyone to coalesce around one or the other, okay? Because I think you have to consolidate, and everybody agrees with that. Movement for a People's Party, they're all for consolidating. In this election cycle, there are going to be a few people that stay home. But I think you really should consider voting. If you want to write in Tulsi Gabbard, I'm not going to voter shame you anymore, if that's your thing. Because quite honestly, it's going to probably be Biden and it could still be Trump. And we just have to deal with that and then, watch more carnage and then, pretend that a third party can't win. And we keep doing it over and over again. And we're going to get that desired result. We need to organize. We need to link arms and say, this is what we want. And we need to find other like-minded Americans and register people who are disenfranchised. We need to get them to vote. So there are a lot of steps to this. This video has kind of been all over the place, but I wanted to clarify the Biden stuff. Look, a bull in a china shop is Donald Trump. Anything that's not a bull in a china shop, to even the people who aren't dyed-in-the-wool neoliberals right now, is starting to look good when the country is on fire. That's why. And for those who are still sticking with Trump, they think he's their savior. He's going to protect them. He's going to send the military out, and the military is going to save everybody. And it's sad because we've gotten to a point in this country where people are so angry. And yeah, they could be agitators that are being sent in by this group or that group. Soros, I hear his name a lot. He could be behind some of it. He likes to tank countries and then go in and reap the spoils and take the spoils as the country tries to recover. Something he's been doing in other countries for quite a long time. So that's a theory. I don't know if it's true, but it's a theory. And I just think there are a lot of people that are so tired of looking at the orange baboon every night, and he's bloviating and just trying to power his way through a couple of sentences that were written for him on a teleprompter. It's just nobody that I want my kids to constantly see. They just think it's a joke. Some people think he's cool, like a gangster. I don't want a gangster running the country. I want somebody who's an adult, who knows how to speak to people properly, who can calm things down, who doesn't need to ratchet things up every time he opens his mouth. And I think that's a skill set that I don't know if Biden has, because Biden's a gaffe machine. But Biden will at least try to do that. Again, no policies are going to be drastically different under Joe Biden. And I'm not saying you should vote for Joe Biden. I'm saying the Tulsi Gabbard thing means that a third party is viable. If you promoted a third party and say, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about over here, and this guy is incoherent over there, you need this person here because they're neither of that, and they will take care of you. They will look after you. They care about the workers. They care about the minorities. They care about people of color. They care about people getting sick disproportionately from COVID. All of these things, there's a big lane and nobody wants to get in there and take it. It's just troubling. So in any event, hopefully that clarified a few things. Good for Tulsi. Good for her. It shows that if her candidacy was allowed to operate in the normal fashion from the get-go, and she wasn't blacked out every day, and she wasn't made into some sort of freak because she wants to know what's happening in Syria, she could have been a very formidable candidate, and she would have been, especially right now, imagine having Tulsi Gabbard as your nominee. It would have been great, because she would have definitely spoke to everything. And by the way, Tulsi Gabbard shows empathy, something that Trump can't do and something that Biden might not be able to do because the neurons aren't connecting, the synapses aren't working. So, that's another huge thing. And Bernie, too, was sometimes a little rough around the edges, although he could show compassion at his rallies. Bernie would have been awesome, too, but Bernie just, he folded up like a cheap tent. At least Tulsi, she wasn't doing all that well in the polls, and she continued to fight and fight. And now she's getting 4% without even really, being an official candidate anymore. She's on ballots, and if you want to vote for her, by all means, vote for her. I've changed my mind there. I've changed my mind, not because she got 4%, because what difference does it make if you vote for Tulsi and it makes you feel good? Vote for Tulsi. I always say vote your conscience, right? It's just in the general election, I think it's going to be a little futile to write in Tulsi Gabbard. And I think Tulsi would want you to either vote for somebody, do it logically, vote for somebody who's on the ballot like Joe Jorgensen or Howie Hawkins or, God forbid, Joe Biden. That's my video. All right, people, again, if you want to support this channel, David J. Spurrier at gmx.com for one-time PayPal donations or repeat PayPal donations. Haven't seen any donations in quite some time and still losing subscribers, but we will persist. We will fight on, and eventually this channel will become a juggernaut. I will become the next Kim Iverson. Well, you know, there's some things that I would have to change about my appearance, but in any event, you know, you never know. Could just catch on, and then people will be watching me all the time, and they'll be wanting to know what I'm about to say next and anticipating my next video. Or not. See you soon, everybody.